All right, with us this morning is Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla.
Good morning.
Secretary.
Good morning, Karen. Good morning, everyone.
All right. Secretary Remulla, what do you make of Mayor Duterte's move to file charges against you, including your brother, and I mean, you're all 11 in this regarding Duterte's arrest, and this is coming from the fact that Senator Amy Marcos also filed a case before the ombudsman against your brother, yourself, and others, although that was dismissed. But the timing of both charges.
Well, I cannot talk for the motives of the good mayor. It is, however, suspicious that Senator Amy says that she will do everything to derail Secretary Boying's campaign to become ombudsman. And they filed the case, even though previously the case is still in the Supreme Court for certiorari. So I think he has to talk to his lawyers and be educated on the merits of how to file cases and when to file cases. So, in my view, it's purely political.
All right. Now, is there a move? Are you hearing of a move with the Duterte camp against, I mean, both of you?
Well, I don't think it stopped since March. So, I think everything is fair game to them. But it's okay. We will face the charges. Whatever they file, we will answer. I think we are confident with what we did and how we accomplished it. And I think in the end, the court will appreciate the merits which we will put forth.
Okay. Now, Secretary, you said it started since March. What did they do in March?
No, it is when the former president was brought to the ICC, then they allege it was a kidnapping. They allege, and we have our own grounds, and we have our own solid grounds of defending otherwise. So it's really different points of view which the court has to resolve.
All right. Now, the case filed by Mayor Duterte, actually, it stems from Senator Amy Marcos's claims that, number one, the arrest of the former president, and I'll quote this, involved graft, arbitrary detention, usurpation of authority and judicial functions, grave threats, false testimony, perjury, grave misconduct, conduct prejudicial, etc., to the best of the interests of service. How do you justify, you and the 10 others, of the move or the transfer of Duterte to The Hague? How do you justify that?
I think that argument is done with. I think what is more important is that the case that Mayor Baste filed is almost mirror that to what Senator Amy filed. So if it is merits they're asking for, it was dismissed by the ombudsman, and now they are asking for another case with the same argument, basically. So there's no need to justify. It's been dismissed. And I think the ombudsman, the current acting ombudsman, hopefully will see through that this is just pure political harassment.
But, Secretary, during that particular time, President Marcos Jr. came out and told the public that we have no choice but to cooperate with the Interpol. But several experts have said that was purely optional. That, in other words, the president could have first been heard and tried in the country instead of being surrendered to the ICC.
Well, I think that argument is moot already. The former president is at The Hague. He's being tried. He's being looked after, and everything has been done. So there's nothing to argue about. The case was filed in the ombudsman. It's being held. They filed for certiorari in the Supreme Court. So whatever transpired during that time, there's no discussion about it. The point is, the former president is at The Hague. He's being tried. The Hague recognized it as a legitimate operation. They accepted it. They did not find any invalid reason for his arrest, and we maintain the same.
Okay. Now, on this particular issue, the defense team of former President Duterte claims that he has cognitive impairment and there's been a postponement on the confirmation of charges, but they're appealing for the president to be essentially be brought back to the Philippines. Do you think the president would agree to that?
I don't think it's the president's decision. It's for the Hague to decide. It's for the Hague to have their doctors assess and to give him the proper treatment and to see what is really happening. As far as the president is concerned, I think it's beyond his hands. It's in the purely in the court's hands now.
All right. Now, let's move on to Sunday's protests. Tell us about what you know. I know that the AFP is on red alert, but do you know exactly which groups are coordinating and essentially organizing the protests on Sunday?
I think a lot of it is the Catholic Church. There are cause-oriented groups. There are citizens groups. I hope 500,000 people show up to show their indignation against these people. I hope that they vent, and I hope that there is a release of their anger in a very peaceful way, and the disappointment in a very peaceful way about how things transpired in the last 2.5 years under the leadership of those members of the DPWH and the House and the Senate. I think everything has to be brought out, and I think people need to be heard.
All right, Secretary, would you know the areas of the protest? So EDSA is one area. Ano ba ang kahabaan ng protesta?
I think it's in, if I'm not mistaken, the Quirino Memorial. I think the one in Luneta. I think those are the two main places where they will convene.
Did organizers have to apply for a permit on Sunday's protests?
I would think so, and I would think they would have been granted. There is no opposition on the palace's part for them to be granted any permits.
Okay.
In fact, we will assist them. The PNP will make sure that there is no trouble. The PNP will not suppress them. The POP will not stop them in any way. And we will make sure that it's just a peaceful rally. Just like what the INC had a few months ago.
Yeah.
But that's how we hope it transpires.
Pero ano ba to, Secretary? May programa ba ito sa EDSA? Because we've seen EDSA 1, EDSA 2. Alam natin yon?
Hindi namin alam kung may stage, hindi namin kung may sound system. All they applied for us for a permit. So, hindi pa namin alam kung ano talaga ang magka-transpire.
Okay. Meron ba kayong habilin when it comes to the rally?
Oh, yes. We are fully for accountability, but we are against instability. The cases of which happened in Indonesia and Nepal is totally different. In this case, the president is in the right side of history. He is in the right side of the story. He is in the right side of prosecuting those malfeasance which was created by the DPWH and those members of the House, both houses. So I think the president is one with them. And it's a different case altogether with which happened in the other countries.
All right. Now, the president also ordered that now LGU's local government units must accept or sign off on flood control projects or infra projects. This was apparently removed during the time of former President Duterte. How will you implement this? Does the DILG have a role in implementing? It's essentially a system. It's a procedural system.
No, ma'am. It never happened before. I've been in local government for 30 years, and I think in my incumbency as governor for 11 years, I've talked to the district engineer twice, and they never had to clear with us any project ever since President Aquino, President Duterte, and even now, they never had to clear with us. There is no master plan for them. There is no master plan that they follow, unlike the local government, which has one. We know where it has to be done. We know where it has to be built. I flew over Albay the other day, and Albay is not in the top 30 provinces which is flooded. And the governor told me that they had 30 billion in projects, in flood control projects over 3 years. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable for a place like that.
So
it's not it should pass through a local government master plan, and it should be, and I totally agree with the president that the local government has to have a function in this.
So wait, this is very interesting. You're saying, and this is quite recent, that the Albay governor discovered they had 30 billion pesos in flood control projects, and yet they're not a priority in flood control. Technically.
They're not. Albay does not flood. They're not in the top 30. And yet, when I saw it, the cement that they laid down and whatever they laid down there was fantastic. I mean, Kamsur deserves that. Kamsur is the one that floods the most, Legazpi City. But I mean, where they put it, there was no flooding in that area, and I didn't understand what they did. So there was no master plan to speak of. And I'm very happy that the president now trusts the local government because he was a governor before, and he knows what went through, and he knows how it has to be done, and he knows that the governor knows how to do it. And I'm fully behind that.
Okay, now, Secretary, you were mayor, you were governor in Cavite, pero ang sistema kasi sa flood control, ang congressman, 'di ba? Ang congressman ang magre-request. Tapos mai-insert 'yon. Whether it's on the floor or this alleged
Yes.
small committee, nagsisimula 'yun sa Kongreso. And then after that, we're seeing now a syndicate among congressmen, legislators, the DPWH, and contractors. This collusion with the new system, how will the LGU play a role? Yung Congress ang nag-i-insert. Ano dapat, Secretary, ang sistema?
We have to have a master plan. In every province, there has to be an infrastructure master plan. For what their priorities are, they have to submit it to the palace. What happened and what is happening is that the local government is totally out of the decision-making process. It is purely within DPWH and both houses. We have no say whatsoever. We have no say we can't even inspect. Governor Dolor was prevented from inspecting a DPWH project in his own province. He was prevented by the Blue Guards of the contractor. That's how bad it is. There is a total disconnect between the DPWH and the local government.
Oo. Secretary, is a law needed for this or just an order from the president? Because what's hard is with a change of the regime, the next president could once again remove that. Kailangan ba ito ng batas?
It will be very complicated to have a law, but what must be done is that in this next few months or next year, that we have to have a 10-year master plan, and everybody has to stick to that. So nobody can deviate from the 10-year infrastructure master plan that the president will create or should create. And then all funds that are available will just go into that. There will be no pet projects. There will be no insertions. Everything has to be according to the master plan.
Did you review essentially the projects in Cavite? Do you have flood control projects in Cavite that you do not know of?
Well, what I personally took care of were the JICA-funded projects.
Yeah.
They went very well. But in the other districts, I was never consulted. So I don't know who implemented it, when it was implemented, how it was implemented. I just saw it there. So again, there is no connection between the DPWH and local government. There is zero.
All right. Now, moving on, I want to ask you, because the DILG is also investigating the alleged junket to Thailand by the Sangguniang Kabataan. So first question, is the Sangguniang Kabataan, ito sa Manila, no? This is the Manila Sangguniang Kabataan. Are they allowed, for example, to have trips abroad for leadership, etc.? Is there a budget for this coming from public funds?
There is a budget permit coming from the office of the mayor, and I understand that's how it was. That's how it was conceived. They applied for a travel permit, which they are perfectly valid to do. What I was surprised as was the brazenness of how they would display how much of a good time they were doing. And they kept on posting. And again, it's that same culture of trying to be impressive. And that's what led to all of this.
So are you going to issue a memorandum of some sort? Because you're right, it's actually the culture of flexing, right? Showing off.
That's right.
And that's why this is where it is now. There was a netizen who commented on Facebook, meron ba kayong ipababago sa kultura, right? Ano ba? DILG, local governments, in terms of trips, how would you do it now?
You cannot legislate good taste. It's really all a matter of bad taste. personally, when I was governor, I never allowed this. I never had these training programs. But maybe it's time to review the policy that all travel, if government funded, should be legitimate and should be for a certain purpose. But training and traveling and capacity building, I don't think that's necessary. And I think we will study it and issue a memorandum circular to that effect.
Okay, so you might be issuing a circular because what
No, we will.
happened?
We will. But we have to study on how the wording should be because we have to be specific on where the funds should come from or not come from, and we have to be specific on what clearances they have to make. So
Because the funds are also politicized. It could be used politically, right? For example, by an
Yes.
incumbent mayor, right? You want to get into the good graces of the SK. All right, go on a leadership trip. Go on a training trip. Alam mo yon?
Yes, and that's the worst way to do it. If you want to do curry favor with the local government officials, with the even with the SK, I think doing good work and doing the right thing is much more important than sending them abroad and then letting them have a good time.
Okay, what do you think of the SK? Am I right? I know that you were, I believe, were you at a hearing once where you actually questioned the relevance of the SK? And you want it removed or...
Yes, I want it remodeled because
Yeah.
as we studied, after they are elected, on the first year, 50% of all the kagawads don't attend. On the second year, 70% of the SK chairman do not function anymore. So what is the use of having them there when they actually get married, they study, they start working, and they have no time? And they increased the age of the SK. It used to be 15 to 21, and now it's 15 to 25. So those who win, of course, are the older ones. And then what happens is that they get married and they work and they have no time. And it's a totally different world when I was Sangguniang Kabataan before, when the world was simpler. But the world is so much more complicated now, and I think that village youth leadership should take a different form.
Okay, magkano ang budget? Huli na lang to, I know you have a meeting. How much is the budget of the SK? And this is under the DILG, no?
No, it's not under the.
Okay.
They are under us on a line basis, but it depends on each municipality, and it depends on each LGU. It's a, and I don't have the exact percentage, but it's a percentage of real property tax that the barangay earns that goes to this.
Oo. But overall, do you have an idea of how much is spent for the SK in a particular city or town?
I have I don't have the numbers right now, but I would think it is 10% of the real property tax of a barangay, like your barangay Bel Air.
Yeah.
Its revenue every year is 350 million. So the budget of the SK will be 35 billion.
And for you, this is useless at this point because a lot of them don't attend anymore.
They're
What,
gone.
what do they do with the money? Saan napupunta pera?
Then the kapitan takes over and starts telling the SK job, pirmahan nyo na lang to, di ba, para magamit natin. And that is 80% of the time.
Okay. All right. So you want remodeling of the SK or abolishing the SK?
I would rather have a village council appointed by the barangay captain, and if they don't function, they can be replaced. Because now, if a barangay SK kagawad is not functioning, there is no mechanism to replace. There is none. So it has to be. I would rather have the village kapitan appoint the youth leaders so that they can function better, and he or she can make sure that they are attending all the functions and they are attending to the needs of the youth.
All right. On that note, thank you so much, Secretary John Vic Remulla of the DILG. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everyone.